So very long ago, mankind reigned supreme in their little corner of the galaxy. They established a veritable empire across multiple star systems. We encountered new beings and intelligence. But that age of unity was not to last. They splintered into dozens, if not hundreds of groups. Planets became battlegrounds for warlords. Some had entire planets under their flag. Very few had entire star systems. For centuries, a status quo was established by the various human states. But for humans themselves, still ventured forth into the unknown. Religious groups searched for paradise, companies searched for the next cash cow, and many simply searched for a new start. With each passing year, there were more and more humans. Even in the territories of other empires and states, the humans found a place to call home, both legally and illegally. The warlord era was still in duration. They bickered and fought for resources and territory. Almost every human state called themselves the rightful heirs of the Empire of Terra, despite the old mother planet becoming a relic, a shadow of its former self, under the boot of those many warlords. But on the same planet which shined so brightly in the endless darkness of space was born a man who will change everything. A simple man from a family of traders and miners, a hardy lineage that is known for their grit and resilience, known for their boldness. Despite their eagerness to go into the unknown, they would always return to their home, Earth. The little boy inherited those same traits and mindset, but unlike his parents and other ancestors, he truly had his sights on the stars. As he grew older, he used his skills and connections to amass wealth. He invested that wealth wisely. His charisma united people toward a single goal, be it in business or other venture. In the age of war, he sought peace, but he found none, so he decided to become what he hated most. A warlord, a tyrant with an iron fist. He used his same wealth, charisma, and connections to overthrow the local government. After centuries of foreign rule, Earth was finally independent, and it prospered once more, now being free from the heavy taxes and stringent tariffs put upon it. In the void between suns and worlds, he proved himself not only a capable commander, but an exceptional one. He'd lay in wait in the open with a small fleet, baiting the enemy to advance from their safer positions. Those same enemies unaware of what hid behind the gas giant, the rest of his fleet. He was the master of deception. No one could predict his next move, not even his officers or advisors. But when he spoke, they obeyed, no matter how insane the proposition. They executed his orders without question because they knew he was right. He encircled entire armadas, tore apart entire armies. He burned everything that lay in his path, or so the stories say. I have to be honest, most of it is true. He did defeat entire armadas with a fleet that would be considered small and technologically primitive compared to some ships his enemies had. But to say he burned everything in his path is simply not true. He did execute his enemies who killed his own. Rumors say he executed multiple officers simply because they didn't let their men get onto escape craft before the entire ship depressurized, despite having enough space to accommodate everyone. He even threatened execution to any of his own officers who dared to do something so dishonorable. This man tore the old status quo apart, and he was becoming a threat to not only the other human states, but to other species as well. Human zeal spread like wildfire. Wherever humans lived, they heard the news of their new emperor, who was waging war against the warlords who oppressed and divided mankind for centuries. Now this is where I come into the picture. Quite simply, I am an assassin. My species is born with a natural gift of what humans call hypervigilance, and we are masters of stealth, and provided with the adequate cloaking tech, I could fit into any crowd. My mission was simple: assassinate the emperor of mankind, as he proclaimed himself. I knew for a fact that this mission was not going to be simple, but I knew I will be successful. I was not selected for the mission and paid a handsome amount for nothing. My reputation precedes me, for I was known as the shadow that roamed the courts and halls of the galaxy, lying in wait for the perfect time to strike at a target. My record was near perfect. I was caught a few times at the beginning of my career and nearly executed every time, but I had learned from my mistakes, or so I thought. For months I roamed the space near the Emperor. I lie in wait for the perfect moment, and I saw a perfect moment appear right in front of me. Too perfect. I had waited too long, and I just wanted to get this over with. And this golden opportunity was given to me on a silver platter. The emperor was alone in his office reading the reports. Unusual, he always had guards with him, and he always had his door closed, but this time it was wide open. I entered his office, invisible. I was prepared to strike when I felt a sharp pain on the right side of my body, which quickly spread throughout its entirety. The cloaking device on me broke, revealing my presence as I fell to my knees, unable to do anything. The emperor stood up from his seat as multiple Marines entered the room pointing rifles toward me. I was trapped. For a species known for their cunning, stealth, and deception, you sure are easy to spot. The emperor said I knew what he was saying. I studied the major human languages before the mission, but I was unable to reply. The only reason I hadn't caught you before was out of curiosity. Just how well can you hide? I knew, but my men here were none the wiser. I commend that, he said, nodding. How could he know I was here? I ran through my memories trying to find any blunder I might have done, and none came up. He looked down at my frozen body. The Maxian League, right? At least that's what we call them. Can't pronounce those damn sounds even if you paid me? He knew who my employer was. I was in such shock that even despite the constant pain, I managed to utter out, "Hey, how?" How? That does not concern you. It's the end of the road. You've made a blunder and you will face the consequences. I felt the barrel of a rifle on my back. Then I heard the familiar buzz. A pulse rifle charging. He will blow a hole through my torso. My brain will live for a few painful seconds right after. I knew that. I ran through my memories, all the mistakes I've made, all the joys and all the pain, all the missed opportunities and squandered chances. I've been given the match to life, but I failed to ignite it. In those last moments, for the first time in my life, I regretted my career choice. As I closed my eyes, I heard the Emperor speak once more. "Stop!" The moment I heard those words, the pain I felt subsided completely, and the rifle on my back retreated. I fell onto my hands, panting heavily. I knew this was my chance to escape, to kill him and be done with it. But I knew my chances of coming out alive were slim to none. And to be honest, I didn't want to kill him. "I see you've made your choice. I will give you this one chance. Give us more information pertaining to the Maxian League, and you'll be free to do as you wish afterward." I looked at him dumbfounded. Just that? Information? And I'll be free? Yes. You can go out and disappear for all I care. If you do return to finish your business, I assure you that you will not be able to get within a light year of my presence before being killed. If you want to start a new life, I'll be generous and make up a report where we killed an assassin. But there is another option. What would that option be? I asked. I'll hire you, and I'll pay you in security. You're a wanted man, I know that for a fact. And even if you are presumed dead, people will recognize you. They will hunt you down. You will not be able to sleep. You will be rich. You will be secure. You'll be able to finally retire from your dirty job. The choice is yours. For the rest of my life, I will remember those words, "The choice is yours." And I did decide. I decided the route of peace. I worked for the man whom I was hired to kill. I'm sure this is not unheard of in history, but today, after all was said and done, I live a life that I could call dignified. Despite my past, I am at least able to die knowing I did not die just as a murderer. Humans always fascinated me. They were sometimes so dumb I found it amazing they were able to reach the stars. But the Emperor showed me otherwise. By the will of a single man, planets burned and fleets sunk into the endless void. The will of a single man who had enough wisdom and intellect to lead an entire species into a new golden age. The will of a single man who showed ruthlessness to his enemies. But at the same time, he showed great mercy. A man who encapsulated and embodied an entire species, good and bad, and by the will of that single man, I am alive today.